The goal of writing isn't always publication. Sometimes you just have to write in order to write. Hey everybody, it's Celeste Joan, and today I'm going to be talking about all of my works in progress and book ideas that I have and books that I someday want to publish or at least write. So I've seen both Autumn Ashley and Sarah LeBrat do this, and I've been wanting to talk about my books for a while now, so it is time to talk about my books. I either said it in a live stream somewhere or in a random video somewhere that when I hit 200 subscribers, I was going to talk about all of my books in a video. And I hit 200 subscribers this past year, so I thought it was only fitting to make a video talking about all my books. So I have a Notion page set up with all of my book ideas, all my works in progress that I'm working on. For each of my projects, I have a status column for where they are in the writing process. I have genre that they're in, the day I want to publish them, or like roughly the time that I want to publish them, as well as my plan for them for 2022, as well as if they're in a series, and then also a short synopsis. So to start off talking about these books, I feel like it is only fitting to start with the one that is furthest along in the process, which you guys will know as Project Restart. I've been talking a lot about Project Restart recently just because I've been making so much progress on it, and it has finally come time to tell you guys the title for Project Restart so I can stop referring to it as Project Restart. And the title for Project Restart is All the Way Strong. And this title has quite a bit of significance to me and my main character. It seems really fitting for this book. And once you read the book, I think you'll kind of understand the significance of the title, but I will also talk about the significance during some release week videos in like April this year. So make sure you guys are subscribed and ring the bell if you want to know the big significance behind the title, All the Way Strong. All the Way Strong! I can finally start referring to Project Restart as All the Way Strong. This makes me so happy. So excited. So what status is All the Way Strong currently at? As of the time I'm filming this video, I have gotten all my feedback from my beta readers. I am incorporating my sensitivity reader and my beta reader feedback, and I'm making a bunch of edits to it as of the time I'm filming this video. By the time this video goes up, it should be with an editor. That is the goal. I started this book in July of 2013. And it is now December of 2021, or January of 2022 by the time you guys are seeing this. It's been a long time coming. This book has been through a lot. It is a young adult contemporary book. No romance, no fantasy, no sci-fi. It's just a young adult contemporary book. I would say think Judy Blume, but for like high school students. So like coming of age, but for high school. And you'll kind of see a theme throughout all my books. Most of them are young adult contemporary books with no romance, or at least it's not like the main plot. So I wrote the first draft of All the Way Strong July of 2013. It was 50,000 words. It was 3 points of view. It was a mess. It was a complete and total mess. I lost the first draft of that book. It was saved on a flash drive. I don't know where the flash drive is. I have kind of given up looking for the flash drive, but I did read through it in, I think it was like April of 2019, I believe, and then I lost the flash drive, and then I started looking for the flash drive, and I could not find it. So I decided, you know what, I think this is my sign to just completely rewrite Project Restart, All the Way Strong. Oh my gosh, I can use the actual title. This is so weird. So I rewrote this book, I think it was July and August of 2019. And then I decided, oh, I need to write this book in the past tense. And then this January, I finished rewriting it from present to past tense. And then I made it into a working draft this past summer. And then I sent it to betas in November. I've gotten it back from betas. And now we are editing and almost ready to send it to an editor. That's where Project Restart's at. It's been through a lot. And this book I plan to publish in April of 2022, like early April. So the next book that is furthest along in the process is Project A, Project Amelia, and I have finished the second draft of this book. I'm waiting to finish edits on Project Restart to write the working draft and then sending that out to betas. And that's because they take place at the same time. There's a couple scenes that overlap, And I want to make sure that Project Restart is set in stone before I start working on Project A. That way I know exactly when things need to happen and I can really finalize the timelines together. And again, it's a young adult contemporary. There is a little bit of romance in this book, but again, it's not the main plot, but it does play a part into the main plot. But it's not the main plot. My goal for 2022 is to write the working draft of it, send it out to betas, send it to an editor, and get it published by November of next year, this year. It's 2022 now. I know there's enough time this year to publish Project A and get it to a point where I'm ready to publish it. I just need to start spending more time with it. I haven't worked on it in quite a while. So that's Project A. Those are the furthest books that I have along in the process. All my other books I've really only worked on first drafts of, or I haven't worked on anything for them at all. So the next book that I want to publish after I publish Project Restart and Project A is my secret project that I started working on this year. I haven't said much about it, but it is a new adult, clean, contemporary romance. Like, it's actually a romance story. Celeste, what is this? I never thought we were gonna do romance in a million years. And here I am, I wrote a new adult romance story. Like, what? And the reason I say it's new adult rather than young adult is because the character is fresh out of college. She has her first job. She's moving away from family for the first time and doing all of that stuff, which is very new adult, I believe. But it is also a clean romance, so it's not spicy. No, I'm not gonna write that. That's not what I want to do. And I'll link the video over there where I talked about coming up with the idea for this project because that was such a fun video to film. But again, I've only written the first draft of this book, so hopefully I can write the second draft and then like the third draft this upcoming year and get that started to be published in like summer of next year because it's kind of a summery book. The next set of books that I have labeled on my Notion page are just labeled book 1, book 2, book 3, and book 4. These are part of a 4-book series. I am entitling Siblings World for now. The name's probably going to change. And these books are part of a young adult contemporary series. Book 2 focuses heavily on the romance part of her life, whereas the other 3 books kind of just focus on her life and her relationships with her family and her friends in general. Originally, I thought I'd be publishing this book in like August of 2023. I don't know if that's gonna happen because I just finished writing draft 1 of book 1 and I still have books 2, 3, and 4 that I need to first draft, and then I have to edit all of them and rewrite them. And it's gonna be a time and a half. It's gonna be a little while before I think these books are gonna be published. And these books I also started working on when I was in like middle school. So 2012 and 2013, I think, is when I started these books. And I've been trying to write the first book for so long, and I finally finished it this past November. I was finally able to write the first draft of book 1, and I've outlined book 2. I am working on outlining books 3 and 4. It's just, there's a lot to this story. There's so much to this story. My plan for next year is to use the Nano months to write the first drafts of these books. So Camp April is going to be draft 1 of book 2, Camp July is going to be draft 1 of book 3, and Nano is going to be draft 1 of book 4. The next book that I have listed out is Project Family. So if you guys have been following along for a little while, you'll know I had a book called Project Trust, which I broke into 2 books, Project Family and Project Trust. Project Trust, the original idea, I had written, I think, 2 or 3 drafts of that book. I think I was working on writing draft 3, and I decided to shelf it and split it into 2 different books. I've already written 15 scenes that I can incorporate into draft 1 of Project Family. A couple things need to be tweaked because I changed something again last night, which changes quite a bit of my overall timeline for all of my books because they're all interconnected. Like, they're all standalone books, but they are all in the same universe. So the thing I'm changing is going to change quite a bit of the timeline, and I need to figure out how it's all going to work, but that's a goal for later. Project Trust, I wrote my freshman year of high school. I think it was April of 2014. So quite a while ago. And then I don't know when I wrote draft 2, but I did decide while I was writing draft 3 in like November. I think it was December of 2020 is when I was writing draft 3, and then January of 2021 is when I decided that I was going to split the book in 2 and shelf Project Trust, but keep writing Project Family. So the goal for Project Family is to write draft 1 in January. The last book that I have written a first draft for is Paradigm Shift. Paradigm Shift. Oh my gosh, this book is something else. This book is something else. Paradigm Shift, I wrote in, I think it was Nano of 2019. This idea came out of random. It came out of left field. It's a new adult book, and it's very hard to explain, mostly because a lot of stuff, if I ever do decide to publish it, a lot of stuff is going to change, but a lot of stuff is going to stay the same. The topic it's going to address is going to stay the same, but a lot of it is going to change. Paradigm Shift. It's a lot. It was originally going to be 6 people's different accounts of the one night at college, and then I started thinking about what happens the next year and what happens at graduation. So there's 6 characters, and each of them tells their account of one night. It's split up by character, and then there's also timestamps throughout the book as well, but it's a very good idea in theory. It is a heavier topic book, but I wrote it, and I don't know if it's ever going to see the light of day anytime soon, but it's a thing. I think it's a good book, but I don't know if I'm going to publish it yet. We'll just leave it at that. There are 2 other books that I have written a couple scenes for. One of them was Winter Retreat. I wrote about 10,000 words in that, got bored, and said, you know what, if I'm bored writing this, someone's probably going to be bored reading it. So I needed to go back and redo that book someday, eventually, maybe, I don't know. I love the characters, I just don't know exactly what I want to happen yet. And then I also wrote the first 10,000 words of Project Bucket List, which the main character is a ghost, but it's not a fantasy or sci-fi book. It's also just contemporary, but the main character is a ghost. That book is also probably going to need a bit of reworking. And I wrote the first 10,000 of that this past year as well, and then I just kind of never touched it again. So we'll see what happens with Bucket List. I'm really not sure if anything will happen with it. I think it would make more of an interesting like movie or TV show than it would book, but who knows? Not me. And now we are on to the ideas list of my books. So a lot of these are simply just ideas and something that I'll want to start drafting next year, but I haven't really put much thought into them, just a tiny little bit. So one of them is my band story, Project Band, something, I don't know what I'm calling any of these yet, but it is a band story, and I've written like a couple scenes in this already, and I'm loving it. I've written a song for it because there's a band and they write songs. So I wrote their closing song for each show that they do. They close out with one song every show, and it's the same song called This Is Home. And it's just them sharing what they feel is home and just knowing that they're home together. And it's a very easy song. It sounds like it was probably written by like kids in high school, you know, because it was. And it fits so well, and I really like it. I like playing it. I like listening to it. It's a good song. It's kind of cheesy at points, but like, it's also kind of the point of the thing. And that is a young adult contemporary book. Kind of has a bit of romance in it, but also doesn't, because my main character ends up single at the end of the book. So I don't think I could technically classify that as a romance. And then the next 5 books are part of a series I started thinking about this past year, which is a young adult contemporary romance series. I never thought I would write romance, but apparently now I have an idea for a romance series. I actually have 2 ideas for a romance series, one of them being the ones that I will tell you, and then the other one being just thinking about all the different holidays and seasons in the year and writing seasonal books for each of them in a romance sort of way. So like writing like a winter romance, and then writing a summer, spring, fall romance, and then doing a Christmas romance, doing a Halloween romance, stuff like that. Just kind of doing like seasonal romance standalones, but in a series. I thought that was a cool idea. I don't know if I'm gonna do it anytime soon, but it's an idea. But this series that I'm thinking about, that these 5 books are in, I believe it's gonna take place in my favorite town that I've created, which is Willow Creek. And just kind of a bunch of different people in Willow Creek and their romance stories, because, you know, I like romance. I have not written much of it, but the one that I did write, I enjoyed. So the titles for these romance books are Don't Need You, But I Want You, Fake Relationship, which is just the trope, Friends to Lovers, or friends to, you know, romance, because lovers, I don't like the word lovers. I don't like that word. Friends to partners, I guess. friends to romance. And then a hidden identity and a soulmate romance. So those 5 are the ideas that I have for my young adult romance contemporary thing. I don't know when I'm gonna work on it, but I have the ideas and I'm just sharing all my ideas because it's fun. And then I have 2 other stories that I don't know if I'm ever gonna do anything with, but I have Sierra's story. Sierra is a side character in Project Restart, All the Way Strong, and this really story is just kind of for myself. I identify a lot with Sierra. If I do decide to publish it, it'll be a new adult book. It deals with her discovering who she is while at college and figuring out a lot about life and how she identifies and all of that type of stuff. So if I do anything with it, who knows? I might just write it for myself. When I wrote my secret project, a lot of that was just me writing for myself, and it was very enjoyable to write. So I think if I do write Sierra's story, it'll just kind of be for me to have for myself. Maybe one day I'll publish it, but I don't think I will. And then the last book that I have an idea for that is on my Notion sheet, I'm sure there's other ideas that I've had, but it is the short stories of Samantha Goodhart. For some reason, the title came to me. That's what it is. If any of you guys know the game The Beginner's Guide, it is kind of based on that. So The Beginner's Guide, the main idea of that game is that there was a game creator and then one day he stopped creating work. He was showing it to his friend and one day he just stopped creating games. And now the friend is showing the player the games and kind of commenting on them and trying to figure out like why he stopped and just getting like, oh my gosh, the game is so good. So the idea for the short stories of Samantha Goodhart is to have, I don't know how to explain this. So the idea for the short stories of Samantha Goodhart is for the author or like the person telling the story is for them to have been friends with Samantha and Samantha always showed them their work and then one day she just kind of stopped writing. Or at least stopped sharing her work. And so the narrator is showing the reader these short stories and commenting on things and trying to tie them together somehow and trying to make sense of everything. And that's kind of the idea I had for that. It would be a big project, but I feel like it would also be a lot of fun. And I think that is all the ideas that I have. That's at least all of my ideas that are in my Notion page. It's a lot. I don't think I'm gonna make this video like every year because I don't think much is going to change from year to year. If anything, I'm just going to keep adding more and more ideas. But I did want to kind of just do this video just so I can look back and see all the ideas that I had at the beginning of 2022 and then, you know, see which ones I worked on, see which ones I decided to scrap, all of that stuff. So thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble about my story ideas. I know I didn't say a lot about what they're actually about, but I just have so many ideas and that would take so long. If you guys made it this far into the video, thank you for watching all the way to the end. I know that there was a lot in this video. Again, I just have a lot of story ideas and most of these I do want to write and publish at some time. There's like maybe 3 or 4 that I don't. The goal of writing isn't always publication. Sometimes you just have to write in order to write. Like Sierra's story is literally just me going to write in order to write. Like that story is just it's gonna mean a lot to me, but it's also something that's so personal to me I don't feel comfortable sharing. So maybe one day, but not anytime soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I know I've been rambling for a long time. If you guys are excited to follow along on my self-publication journey, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can see more content from me. I should be self-publishing 2 books this year, which is insane to think about. But I am really excited. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, do all of that fun stuff, and I will see you guys all hopefully next week. Bye!